CS2's recent update changed a bunch of things on Overpass that I'm especially interested in because I found most of them while making my previous video. So whether or not I had anything to do with Valve changing these things doesn't really matter. It's still something that I find myself invested in, and which things they've changed and which things have remained the same will tell us a thing or two about the direction Valve has chosen to go with this map, and with updates to CS2. At the start of my previous video, I pointed out that you could stand on one of these bins, but not on an identical one somewhere else in the level. They've fixed this by just removing the bin that you couldn't stand on previously. I presume this is because it was less effort than keeping the bin in and having an unwanted boost that they'd have to block off some other way instead. It's curious that both before and after the update, your head could peek over the top of this wall without hitting an invisible ceiling in this area of the map. So post-update, you can still see over this wall by standing on another player's head and then jumping. But I suppose the risk of leaving the bin in the level but in an unclipped state was that two players would be able to stack on this and you'd be able to see over the wall without having to jump, making it a formidable sniper spot instead of just a peekable area. The other bins they've removed are the ones that were in this corner, which didn't let you stand on them, bar a pixel-wide ledge along one of the edges. I looked back earlier still at the pre-release pictures we had of Overpass, and there was a time when there were two full-size bins in this corner. So this seems like an area that Valve has experimented with various different things in, before giving up completely. And I said that having a ladder here was misleading, since you could neither climb the ladder nor stand on the thing that it leads to. So they've done the sensible thing by removing the ladder, though another unclimbable one remains closer to T-spawn. But they haven't just removed stuff. This bench previously couldn't be stood on. The bench remains, but the clipping has been removed, which now allows you to perform antisocial behaviour within this area. A smaller thing they changed was the clipping on this yellow pipe. I pointed out that if you jumped into it, it would launch you out sideways and around the corner, which could get you killed. It now just stops you in your tracks and you drop to the ground. In other words, this cylinder behaves less like a triangle and more like a square now. I realise that the things that are changed are the most interesting things to cover, but it's worth mentioning that a lot of the things I found in my previous video haven't changed. But this tells us a thing or two too. They haven't changed the storage room in the slightest. This open door remains the same clipped off thing as it was before, and this gap can't be entered. And the 69th opened locker still doesn't have a name tag. All these things would benefit from model changes if they were to adjust them, so maybe this update is just a quick and dirty patch where they changed what was easy to change and left other things as a to-do for another time. Other stuff that hasn't changed includes this sink, which still can't be stood on. It just seems strange because you can jump on other similar stuff elsewhere in the level. This corner still looks climbable, but isn't. You can still shove this horse's head right up your ass, and the clipping beneath the slide is still dodgy, requiring a crouch from this direction, and it briefly blocks you when you step up onto the lip from this one. And while this pallet can be climbed on, this identical one still cannot. But Valve has moved these signs in a bit, because previously they stuck out quite a bit, would block your movement and couldn't be stood on. So this is definitely an elegant solution to all those things. So what can I interpret from Valve's behaviour with this update? Not a lot. Sometimes, when something doesn't seem right and you point it out, they'll fix it, confirming that it wasn't meant to be like that all along. Other times, they don't change it. Maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe some fixes require more effort than others. I mean, a clip brush can just be removed, but having to change a model takes more time, effort, and probably more people getting involved. And maybe some things weren't intentional, but simply aren't worth changing. So in other words, interpreting Valve's actions with this update is still like reading tea leaves. But I appreciate the way they're rolling out these updates. Every week or so we get several new maps to focus on playing and testing, and in the meantime Valve are quick to roll out numerous small fixes and updates to them, as we slowly approach the official launch to CS2.